So this is the continuation of my previous lecture, and we'll be solving some more numericals on kinematics topic. So let us start with the first numerical. Now what is given is two automobiles traveling in the same direction in adjacent lanes are stopped at a highway traffic signal. As the traffic signal turns green, automobile A accelerates at a constant rate of 1 meter per second square. 2 seconds later, automobile B starts and accelerates at a constant rate of 1.3 meters per second square. We need to determine when and where B will overtake A, and second, we need to determine the speed of each automobile at the time of overtaking. Fine, so we have two automobiles here, A and B. They both start from the same point, but what happens is A starts first, right? So probably at t equals to 0, A will start and it covers certain distance, and let us say that there is one point where B will overtake A, right? And B starts 2 seconds after A has started. So if the time taken by A to reach this point, this overtaking point, I'll write it as OP. If the time taken by A is t seconds, then the time taken by B to reach the same point is t minus 2 seconds. Correct? Both of them have initial velocity equal to 0. So u is 0 in both the cases. Acceleration of A is 1 meters per second square, right? 1 meter per second square, and acceleration of B is 1.3 meters per second square. Okay, now what is common in between them? The common thing is that both of them, they cover the same distance till this overtaking point, and after that B will be obviously overtaking A, so it will cover more distance than A, but till this point they are covering the same distance. So what we can say is that SA is equal to SB, right? So what we can write here, we can write for both of them, SA is equal to UA TA plus half A T square. Okay, so this term gets cancelled because anyways the initial velocity is 0. So what we'll get here is half into the acceleration of A is 1 and the time taken by A is t. So it is t square by 2, right? And SB is UB into t. Now this t, this is nothing but the time with respect to A, okay? So this t is nothing but the time taken by A. So here we can write as TA minus 2 plus half of acceleration of B into TA minus 2 the whole square. So this is nothing but this term will get cancelled because it is 0. Half into 1.3 into t minus 2 the whole square, right? And we know that SA is equal to SB, so we can equate them now. So we can write here as t square by 2 is equal to 1.3 into t minus 2 the whole square by 2. So we can write this as this 2 will get cancelled, and this 1.3 can be written as 13 by 10. So I'll write it as 10 by 13 t square is equal to t square minus 4t plus 4, right? So we can obviously rearrange it. So it will be t square minus 10 by 13 t square minus 4t plus 4 equals to 0. So you will get t, when you solve this, you will get it as equal to 16.2678 seconds. This is the time taken by A to reach overtaking point, right? It's the time taken by A to reach overtaking point. So we had to determine when and where B will overtake A. So we at least got the time. We can now find the distance at which B will overtake. So any of the distance you can find, either SA or SB, whichever is easier. So I'll find SA, which is equal to t square by 2. So it's 16.2678 square by 2, which is equal to 132.321 meters. This is the distance at which the B will overtake A. And what else did we have to find? The speed of each automobile at that time. So we can find this using V square minus U square equals to 2AS formula. So VB square, and U is obviously 0 in this case. So VB square is equal to 2 into 1.3 into the distance at which they are overtaking, 132.321. Therefore, VB will be equal to 18.5481 meters per second. And same we can apply for VA also. VA square is equal to 2 into the acceleration of vehicle A was 1 into 132.321. So VA you will get as equal to 16.2678 meters per second. Right, so we have found both of them. Let us solve the next numerical. So what is given is 3 marks A, B, C spaced at a distance of 100 meters are made along a straight line. So let me make 3 marks, A, B and C, and they are spaced at a distance of 100 meters, right? So 100 meters is the distance between them. A car starting from rest and accelerating uniformly passes the mark A and takes 10 seconds to reach mark B and further 8 seconds to reach mark C. So from this what we understand is that the car is not actually starting from A, because here it is saying that it is uniformly passing the mark A. It means that it is starting some point before A, right? Let us say that this is the starting point from where it starts, and that distance we do not know, right? But it is the starting point, so U has to be equal to 0, or U1 I will say it is equal to 0, and when it reaches point A, let's say it has a velocity, final velocity v1, then this v1 will be the initial velocity of point A at point A, and then when it reaches point B, let's say v2 is the final velocity. This will be the initial velocity at point B, right? And when it reaches finally at point C, the final velocity is v3. Okay. So this is the basic hierarchy that we have established right now. What it is saying is that it uniformly passes the mark A and it takes 10 seconds to reach the mark B. So time taken here is 10 seconds from A to B, and from B to C the time taken is 8 seconds. Okay. Calculate the magnitude of the acceleration of the car, the velocity of the car at A, the velocity of the car at B, that is this V1 and V2 we have to find. The distance of the mark A from starting point. So this distance also we need to find. A distance which is currently it is unknown. Okay. So what we'll do is that since we know the distances, let us work with what we are knowing currently. So we know basically the distances. I will say that this is distance S1, this is distance S2, this is S3. Okay. So one, sorry, this is, I think there is a mistake writing here. This was u1 v1. Okay, let me write it correctly. So this has to be u2, which is equal to v1, and this has to be v2, right? v2, and this is u3, which is equal to v2, and finally this is your v3. Fine. So this is your s2 and s3. We will apply the equations of motion. S2 is equal to u2, and let me write this as t2, and this is t3, and let's say this is t1, which is not known to us. Okay, so u2 t2 plus half. Now acceleration, one thing that remains common with the car is it is accelerating uniformly. Okay, a car starts from rest and accelerates uniformly throughout the journey. So acceleration is not going to change anywhere. Acceleration will remain the same, right? So let me say it is A itself here, or let us give it a name, right? A2. I'll call it as A2 half A T2 square, and here I'll establish the relation of A2. So it is A2 is equal to V2 minus U2 upon T2, which is equal to V2 minus V1 upon the time taken, because U2 is equal to V1. So time taken is 10 seconds. This is your A2, right? So S2, which is 100 is equal to V1 into 10, because again U2 is equal to V1. What I will do is that I will write all the equations in terms of their final velocities V. So V1 into 10 plus half into A2 is V2 minus V1 by 10 into 10 square, right? So you will get this as 100 is equal to 10 V1, and then this 10 will get cancelled. So plus, and this will be 5, right? So plus 5 V2 minus 5 V1, so it is equal to 5 V1 plus 5 V2. Fine. This is one equation that we have got. 100 is equal to 5 V1 plus 5 V2, or rather we can also simplify it as 20 is equal to V1 plus V2. Okay, this is good. This is one equation. See, solving these kinematics problem, there is not only one way. There are multiple ways how we can solve a particular numerical. The approach is left on the student. Second equation, let me say S3 is U3 T3 plus half A3 T3 square, where A3 is equal to V3 minus U3 upon T3. A3 is equal to V3 minus U3 is equal to V2. So V3 minus V2 upon T3. T3 is again, T3 is 8 seconds basically. And S3 is 100. So 100 is equal to U3, we know it is V2 into 8 plus half into V3 minus V2 by 8 into 8 square. I'll directly write it as V3 minus V2 into 8. This will get cancelled, 4. So it is 8 V2 plus 4 V3 minus 4 V2, which is equal to 4 V2 plus 4 V3, or we can say 25 is equal to V2 plus V3. This is another equation, correct? And what else can we get? What else do we know? We know one velocity here, u1 equals to 0, right? So we have utilized so far whatever information we had, I mean this information, 100 and 100, these informations we have utilized. We have one more information with us, which is u1 equals to 0. I mean it's one known value we have with us, so I think we can utilize this thing. S1 I will say, okay, S1, let me write it as is equal to u1 t1 plus half a1 t1 square, right? And a1 can be written as v1 minus u1 upon t1. So u1 is obviously 0, this is 0, so a1 is equal to v1 by t1. S1 is equal to half a1 is v1 by t1 into t1 square, which is v1 into t1. So S1 I get as equal to v1 t1 by 2. Fine. Now what do we have here? We have we know that acceleration across the entire distance is same. That means we know that a1 is equal to a2 is equal to a3. This is one information that we know with us. So let us equate those things. a1 is v1 by t1 is equal to a2 is this thing, v3 minus v2 by 8. v3 minus v2 by 8 is equal to v2 minus v1 by 10. Sorry, yeah, v2 minus v1 by 10. Right? Since uniform acceleration, so can we form an equation from here? Let us try. So we have v3 minus v2 by 8 and v2 minus v1 by 10. We can say 10 times v3 minus 10 times v2 is equal to 8 times v2 minus 8 times v1. So I'll bring all of them on the left hand side, minus 8 v2 plus 8 v1 is equal to 0. I'll utilize these two equations. So we get 8 v1 and then this will be minus 18 v2 plus 10 v3 is equal to 0, right? Plus 8 v1 minus 18 v2 plus 10 v3 equals to 0. So this is one more equation that has been formed here. So this is the third equation. So utilizing this equation, third one, second one and first one, we can solve them simultaneously, and when we solve them simultaneously we'll get v1 equals to 8.6111 meters per second, v2 equals to 11.3888 meters per second, and v3 equals to 13.6111 meters per second. So we found v1, v2, v3, I mean the final velocities at these points, v1, v2 and v3 we have found out. From this, so the magnitude of the acceleration of the car is left. Velocity of the car at A we have found v1, velocity of the car at B we have found v2. Okay, so let us find the magnitude of the acceleration A, right? So we can utilize any of the formula. Let us say A is equal to v3 minus v2 by 8. So it is equal to 13.6111 minus 11.3888 upon 8, which is equal to 0.27778 as the acceleration, 0.2778 meters per second square. This is the acceleration of the car. Okay, so now what we have found, this is found, this is found, this is found. The distance of the mark from the starting point, this distance is left, right? So now we know v1, I know the acceleration, I know u1 is 0, so I can find t1. Alright, so we can find that basically. The formula that we can use is v1 minus u1 upon t1 is equal to a1, or basically a, because a is constant. So I'll write it as 2.778. u1 is 0. v1 I know, v1 is 8.6111. Therefore 8.6111 upon 0.2778 is equal to t1. Therefore t1 is equal to 30.9988 seconds. t1 is 30.9988 seconds, and from this I think we can find, or I guess we could have also used this equation, v square minus u square is equal to 2as, right, because only s was supposed to be found out. So this is 0. v1 minus u1 square is equal to 2as s1l, right? So v1 we knew it is 8.6111 square upon 2 into acceleration 0.2778 is equal to s1. So s1 will be equal to 133.4612 meters. So we have finally found everything that we require for this numerical. Okay, let us solve the next numerical. So what is given is, as a body is projected to a high altitude above the Earth's surface, the variation of the acceleration of gravity with respect to altitude y must be taken into account. Neglecting air resistance, this acceleration is determined from the formula minus g into r square upon r plus y the whole square, where g is the constant gravitational acceleration at sea level, r is the radius of the Earth, and the positive direction is measured upwards. So since your gravity is always acting downwards, that is the reason it is given as negative, and since here it is also told that its positive direction is measured upwards. If g is 9.81 meters per second square and r is the radius of the Earth is 6356 kilometers, determine the minimum initial velocity, that is the escape velocity, at which a projectile should be shot vertically from the Earth's surface so that it does not fall back to the Earth. Okay, so this escape velocity is told to find. Escape velocity means when that projectile it reaches outside the outside the boundary of the gravity, then it will go into the space, right? So it is the minimum velocity that is required to escape the gravitational field of the Earth. Therefore, when it actually goes into the space, it is not going to have any velocity of its own. It will be just floating in the there won't be any gravity acting on it, so it will be just floating in the space. Therefore, when it reaches that escape velocity, or when it reaches into the space, its final velocity is actually 0. Okay, because it is not having any velocity of its own. It is just floating in the space basically, and we do not even know at what distance it is going to escape the gravitational field of the Earth. Hence, that distance we will have to take as infinity, because we do not know at what distance exactly it is going to escape the Earth's gravity. So what we can do here is, we know that acceleration is minus g r square upon r plus y the whole square. Okay, and we know one more equation of acceleration, which is a is equal to v into dv by ds, where this s is nothing but the distance along which this velocity is acting. Here in our case, acceleration is given in terms of y. Y is the distance measured upwards. So here this equation will become v dv by dy. A is equal to v dv by dy. So what we can do? We can take this dy on the other side. A into dy is equal to v dv, and we can integrate both of them. So let us do the same thing. V dv is equal to integration of minus g r square upon r plus y the whole square dy. Now the limits of integration are important. So if the projectile is shot vertically, it means that it is having some initial velocity. Let that initial velocity be v, and as I told you that when it reaches its escape velocity, when it reaches inside the means in the space, or when it is out of the gravitational effect of the earth, at that time the velocity becomes 0, right? And this y is the distance, so this integration is done with respect to that y variable. From the point of the on the earth, I would consider y to be equal to 0, because I think this y is it would be given somewhere that it is, I think, from the earth only. Yeah, altitude y must be taken into account. Okay, but that altitude y is actually from the sea level, right? Because if you see that when this y is equal to 0, it will be, the answer will be minus g, which is actually at the sea level. So y has to be taken from 0 and it goes till infinity, because as I told you, we do not know the distance at which the projectile is going to escape the Earth's gravitational field. So let us solve this integral. This would be v square by 2, v to 0, and this is minus, okay, we'll solve this integral. So I'll take this as minus g r square and integration of 1 upon r plus y the whole square. This r plus y raised to minus 2 plus 1 divided by minus 1. This is what we'll be having, right? And it will go from 0 to infinity. So what we have here is minus v square by 2 is equal to, this will get cancelled, g r square 1 upon r plus y 0 to infinity. So we have minus v square by 2 is equal to g r square 1 upon r plus y minus 1 upon r plus infinity minus 1 upon r plus 0. So this is v square minus v square by 2 is equal to g r square. This term will become 0 into minus 1 upon r, right? This is what we'll get. So therefore finally we get v square by 2 is equal to gr. Therefore v is equal to root 2 gr. This is the escape velocity that is required for the projectile, right? So if are the constants given to us, so g is given, r is given, so okay, we can find it. V is equal to root 2 into 9.81 into r is how much? 6356, I think. 6356. Now this g is 9.8 meters per second, right? Meters per second square, and this is in kilometers, so we'll have to convert it into meters. 6356 into 1000. So we will get our escape velocity as 11.167 into 10 raised to 3 meters per second. So this can be written as 11.167 kilometers per second of velocity. This is the escape velocity required. Okay, let us solve this numerical. What is given is accounting for the variation of gravitational acceleration A with respect to altitude y, derive an equation that relates the velocity of a freely falling particle to its altitude. Assume that the particle is released from rest at an altitude y0 from the Earth's surface. With what velocity does the particle strike the Earth if it is released from rest at an altitude y0 equals to 500 kilometers? Use the numerical data in previous problem. So the variation we will take from this problem only. A is minus g r square upon r plus y the whole square. So A is equal to minus of g into r square upon r plus y the whole square, and also we will have the same integral, basically v into dv by dy is equal to minus g r square upon r plus y the whole square. Therefore integration of v dv is equal to integration of minus g r square upon r plus y the whole square into dy. Now the question is, what should be the limits for this integral? For that, let us understand the question again. So what it is saying is that, first of all, this y is measured from the Earth's surface, right? So let's say that this is the Earth's surface, okay, something like this, and vertically we are measuring the y like this, in this direction. So let us say that there is this is the y, okay, this much distance is y, and there is some distance y0. So we need to derive an equation that relates the velocity of freely falling particle to its altitude. Assume that particle is released from rest at an altitude y0. So that altitude y0, let us say that altitude is here somewhere, okay, this altitude is y0. So your object is being released from this point, so that means the velocity here will be equal to 0, and when it comes down, let us say the velocity at this point is equal to v, velocity at a distance of y from the surface of the Earth, the velocity at that point is v, and from the point where it is being released, the velocity at that point obviously has to be equal to 0. Okay, so let us say that v is going from this integration, v is going from this v to 0, and here this y is going from y to y0, okay, because at y the velocity is v, at y0 the velocity is 0. Fine, so we understood the integrals. Let us check what should be the answer for this. So v square by 2 v to 0 is equal to minus gr square into 1 upon this integral is the same as the previous numerical, r plus y. Okay, so this negative gets cancelled, and it is going from y to y0. Fine. What we can understand here now is minus v square by 2 is equal to gr square 1 upon r plus y0 minus 1 upon r plus y. This is what we are getting, gr square r plus y, and I will cross multiply here, basically r plus y minus r minus y0 upon r plus y0 into r plus y, right? So we will get minus v square by 2 is equal to gr square. This r will get cancelled, it is y minus y0 upon r plus y0 into r plus y. What I'll do is to cancel out this negative sign, I'll interchange their positions. So what will happen, one negative sign will come outside, or basically let us say I'm multiplying both the sides by -1. So I'll get v square by 2 is equal to gr square into y0 minus y upon r plus y0 into r plus y. Now this is the equation. Fine, so this is the final equation that we are getting. Okay, basically we want the velocity, right? So velocity would be equal to under root of 2gr square into y0 minus y upon r plus y0 into r plus y. So this is the final equation, right, that we would get for velocity, right? Now it is also asked in the question to check what is the velocity with which the particle strikes the earth if it is released from rest at an altitude y equals to 0. Now y0 is 500 kilometers in this case, and at what point do we want v? We want to know that at what velocity it will strike the earth's surface, right? So this y will be equal to 0 in this case, for this case, right? So at y equals to 0, what will be v equals to? That is what we need to find using that equation. So in this equation, at y0 equals to 500 kilometers, and r is same thing. R is, I think, we'll use the same value, 6356 it was. R was 6356 kilometers, right? Yes, 6356 kilometers, and y equals to 0 because we are finding the impact on the surface of the earth. So v will be equal to under root of 2 into 9.81 into r square, 6356 into 1000. See, we have to convert everything into meters now because our acceleration due to gravity is in meters per second square, or what you can do is you can convert your acceleration due to gravity in kilometers per second square. That is the thing, but all the units should be the same. That is what is important. y0 is 500 kilometers, 500 into 10 raised to 3, that will become meters, minus 0 because y is 0 upon 6356 plus 500 into 1000. This will make the first term into meters, into 6356 plus 0 into 1000. This will make the second term into meters. So what do we get? So we get v as 3015.720. This would be meters per second. We can convert it into kilometers per second. V will be equal to 3.015 kilometers per second. So with this velocity, that object will strike the surface of the earth if it is being released from a height of 500 kilometers. Okay, so I think that's it for today's lecture. In the next lecture, we'll be solving some more numericals. Till then, take care. Thank you.